What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'm going to take you guys through a big at the back draft. So yes, this is for all you thick boys out there. We're going to be looking at a draft that absolutely stacks the defense, that has some really good options from Man City, Chelsea, and then also Liverpool. So I'm going to be taking you guys first through some talking points relating to this draft and just some things that you have to take into consideration if you are going to be going with this specific draft on your wildcard for Game Week 8. So that's something you guys are interested in. Sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So the talking points about the big at the back draft, the first one that I want to tell you guys about is just the rotation risk. So I've mentioned Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool. I don't really think you have to worry about Liverpool assets being rotated too much from a defensive point of view, but Man City and Chelsea, the Pep roulette and the Tuchel roulette are live and well this Premier League season. So the Chelsea defense, you could actually argue, has a little bit of a worse rotation there under their German manager, but Pep also loves to rotate, as you guys know from previous Premier League seasons. So both these two assets, you might not even have any playing defenders from these respective teams. And that's going to be the first talking point. I would recommend that you guys do have quite a strong bench in case these options do have to come off. Obviously, you won't have any defensive options to be substitutes, but I guess you can assume that you will have at least 3 playing defenders every single game week. I think that's a safe assumption to go for, considering that these are high value, high integral players from a defensive point of view for these respective teams. So I mean, these managers can't rotate the entire defense and still expect to put up a good defensive performance, if you know what I'm saying on that kind of front. The second talking point is going to revolve around Trent Alexander-Arnold, and in this video I'm going to assume that he's going to be back to full fitness. Now I am recording this video with the aim of kind of uploading it in a day or two, so if Klopp has come out and said if there has been news about Trent recovering, you guys can take this draft for what it is, but if there is some news about him potentially missing Game Week 8 against Watford, then just kind of rotate him and put whatever option you want instead, maybe a Tierney from Arsenal, because he is also kind of a more expensive defender. And then the third talking point, and probably the most important one out of this video, is going to be the whole value debate of defenders versus midfielders / forwards. And the reason why I'm kind of bringing up this is that every year we kind of have this debate of, are defenders more valuable than their attacking counterparts? I guess what you guys have to do is do your own little kind of analysis here. Just maybe look at the Premier League transfer page. Just look at the points scored by defenders versus attackers at the similar price point, and you'll actually see that defenders can prove quite good value for money when they do have great fixtures. And that's why these Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool assets have good fixtures coming up, and that's why I think this might be the time to actually go big at the back to take advantage of these good value options in FPL. So what makes defenders quite good value in general is that they offer the clean sheet threat, the defensive threat, but then they also sometimes offer more attacking threat, offset pieces. When you look at fullbacks, the crossing threat, the set piece threat, that assisting threat always kind of looks quite good when they manage to pick up these returns. You then also have the bonus points to boot, so if a defender gets a clean sheet and attacking returns, basically it's an assumption that they will get some bonus points, which is always nice in FPL. As you know, every point does count, so bonus points are always welcomed from that defensive point of view. I'll probably be doing a valuation video in terms of my wildcard. Either I've already released it or I will release it upcoming after this video. So just keep your guys' eyes on that, because I'll take a little more of a deep dive into this, as we have to have some stats and some graphs to back up the data. But let me know in the comments down below, are you on the kind of defensive value debate? Which side are you on? Are you on the side that says defenders are better value for money? Or are you on the other side that says an attacking option in the midfield and the forward proves better value over the long term? So now going on to the big at the back draft, and as you can see, 5 defenders at the back, and they're all really expensive and good options, to be honest. Now I'm going to start off with the bench here. That's kind of relates to the talking point I covered, that you do still need a strong bench, because if one of your defenders is rotated, as might be expected from game week to game week, you still need a good option to come on and secure you some FPL points. So the goalkeeper, nothing much to talk about there. Foster, he won't come on too often. I'm expecting my goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez, to play the majority of Brighton's goalkeeping minutes, but the other 3 options are quite enticing, to be honest. So to start off, we have Tony from Brentford, and the reason I want to kind of highlight him is that from game week 10 onwards, Brentford's fixtures look simply outstanding, and that's why, though Brentford have actually impressed against stronger opposition, you got to favour them against these weaker sides, and I am expecting Tony to get back on form, on the goal-scoring form that he showed in the Championship last season. Now you guys can also rotate him with the Hwang, or if you don't really favour one of your other midfielders, you can also opt for him, but I think from game week 10 onwards, he's probably going to be a mainstay if I do opt for him. I was also super happy that I managed to afford Douglas Louise, had a price rise last night, or at least as I'm recording this video. So currently is 4.6 million, but for a 4.5 midfielder, definitely the one to go for, as he has looked to nail down a spot in that Aston Villa lineup, and the stats to back him up do look quite good from an attacking point of view. The final player, though, is also going to be one of those players that is cheap but also offers some threat going forward, and that's going to be Smith Rowe from Arsenal, getting in and around that box at 5.3 million. I mean, what more can you ask for? And as I always say, only has to get a couple of returns every now and again for him ready to prove valuable at 5.3 million. So if we do have to rely on the bench to come on, we can always. These options I have perfectly good faith in to get us some returns. Douglas Louise probably going to be third on the bench most game weeks, as I trusted Tony and then also Smith Rowe to might be more kind of clinical in front of goal. But now going on to the starting 11, and I'm super excited to talk about the most interesting part first. That's going to be the defense. Usually the defense is quite boring, but no, on this wildcard draft, the defense is the most interesting part about this draft. Not taking anything away from the midfielders and the forwards. Got some nice, interesting differential options as well. But in terms of the defense, going to start off with the goalkeeper. Our most boring position, unfortunately. Sanchez, 4.6 million. Nothing much to talk about there. He has been on some good form. Brighton have looked quite strong, so I do really trust them from a goalkeeper point of view. But going on to our back five, I've gone for the double up of the Chelsea and the Man City assets, and then Trent Alexander-Arnold as well to kind of complement them. But as I mentioned in the talking points, this does rely obviously on Trent being back to full fitness for Watford at home, which I don't think is completely out of the question. If you guys do remember, prior to Game Week 7's deadline, Klopp did say that Trent will be out for 2 to 3 weeks. Luckily, we do have the international break, so he might be back for Game Week 8 actually, but I would keep my eyes on the news, as I'm pretty sure Klopp will tell us if Trent is back or not. With Liverpool's fixtures, they are a little bit hit or miss, good fixture, bad fixture, and so on, but I still think Trent, with that attacking ability, still can get you some FPL points even in those tough games. But the double up of the Man City and the Chelsea assets are where you're probably going to be getting the most points. I just think Chelsea's run of fixtures looks simply outstanding, and Man City's defense has also been quite rock solid, and they also have some nice fixtures to boot as well. Azpilicueta, Rudiger, my favorite Chelsea defenders to go for. Azpi is quite versatile, can play kind of anywhere in that defensive department, and Rudiger is the most nailed centre back to get, so I would recommend going for him, as he is also a little bit cheaper than these other defenders. We do always have that threat of that Chelsea rotation, but I do think we've kind of gone for the two most nailed players. Yes, we haven't gone for a Chilwell, a Reece James, and Alonso that offer that really outstanding haul ability, but I still think that Azpilicueta and Rudiger on their day can get you a couple of points. Diaz, Cancelo for me are personally a little bit more exciting considering their attacking threat. Diaz off those set pieces, always kind of a headering threat on those corners and those free kicks, whereas Cancelo on that crossing ability and also those set pieces, he can always get an assist. Also does like a couple of shots, likes to get in the box, in around that box, take the long shot on, so I mean he could even score a goal every once in a while. But I think the brunt of the points from the defense are going to come from those clean sheets, and the Chelsea and Man City defenses have been rock solid. Liverpool's defense has been a little bit all over the place, but I still think that Trent could get a couple of clean sheets, but at least we still do have some attacking threat from all our back five. The midfield three also excites me, to be honest, and the main reason for that is that we managed to get a Man City midfielder in here, and that's going to be Phil Foden. If you guys did watch my kind of wildcard watch list, I went over the talking points of why I do favour him over a Grealish and maybe a Mahrez or a Ferran Torres. I just think when I saw him play against Liverpool, looked to be on great form, and I do think with him getting a little bit older in these Premier League seasons, he's going to get more and more minutes, and I think he has to. One of the best, if not the best, young players at the current moment, so I think Pep is almost forced to play him just to continue this kind of rapid development that Foden has had over these past couple seasons. Salah, Rafinha, two mainstays, two more essential options to kind of go for. Not really that differential, but I think these two players could get some points over these upcoming game weeks, and Salah is definitely the most informed player in the Prem at the moment. The nice thing about this big at the back defense is that you're probably going to rotate the captaincy between Salah and Lukaku anyways, so you don't even need another premium asset in the midfield or the forward departments. You can simply go for your more valuable defenders, and hopefully they get some attacking and some defensive returns. The last position then to talk about is going to be Lukaku and Hwang. So Hwang is probably the main concern about me in the starting 11, and the main reason for that is he does come in quite cheap. He might not be the most nailed Wolves attacker to get, but he does seem like for at least the short term, he should be starting in that Wolves lineup. Now, I did mention with the bench that we could always substitute Tony, a Smith Rowe, a Douglas Louise on for him, but if the defense does get some rotation and my bench doesn't have great fixtures, I think that's probably the only reason why you might be concerned about going big at the back. Lukaku, as I mentioned with Salah, greater option for the Capsy armband over these upcoming game weeks, and with his lovely Chelsea fixture, I think he's a kind of essential option to go for on a wildcard. Let me know what you guys think about this draft. Are you a fan of big at the back? Are you not? Where do you kind of stand? Would you maybe rotate one of my defenders out, maybe swap Trent out for a cheaper option so that you can bring in a better option than Hwang or maybe a Smith Rowe? What's your kind of decision on this, or do you like this draft? I personally am almost leaning towards going for a similar kind of template for my own wildcard come that game week at deadline. But this is basically wrap up the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did, and subscribe if you're new and have not subscribed yet. I'll be seeing you guys for a load of content coming up, so make sure you turn that bell notification on. I'll also be checking you guys on Twitter at Dayvy FPL. I'll be signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.